So when all we've got's each other, will we still need anyone on whom to lean, or does it matter, 'cause we're high? Welcome to another episode of Sunshine Spotlight, and we have so many firsts on this show. This is the first time we have two people from a band, Fairhazel, and it's you, and it's Danielle, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
No, it's so good to be here, and it's so good to see your face.
It is so good to see you guys. Newlyweds, got married during the pandemic. You guys have been so busy during this pandemic. First of all, Fairhazel has been releasing single after single after single. I just saw everything you sent me, and they're all magnificent. But most importantly, you guys tied the knot during this whole thing. What a busy pandemic you've had. Please,
I know.
fill us in.
It's a lot.
We just it was like a spur of the moment thing. We didn't want to have to be separated because I'm from the UK, and we just it was one day we made the decision and the next day we got married.
Drove
everywhere
up to Oregon.
Everywhere in California was already closed. All the offices were closed because of the pandemic, so we had to go up to Oregon.
Yeah, and it was we didn't really know what was going to happen once we got there because it was so uncertain if the county clerk's offices were going to be open. Even so, when we went to the county clerks to be like, hey, so we could probably get married next week, they were like, we don't even know if it'll be open. So that day, we scheduled it 2 hours later, and my aunt and uncle I called them and I was like, so I'm getting married in 30 minutes. They were so sweet, and they got dressed up and came, and it was.
But the only woman available to do the actual ceremony. It was in her house on just a residential street,
and
beautiful. She had Sting playing on a little stereo speaker when we came in, and it was pretty funny.
It was really perfect. I think you envision this thing for your wedding. I know most people do. I didn't really, but I thought it was so perfect. It was a spontaneous Corona wedding. It's exactly how I would have wanted it
as it should be.
Exactly.
Well, anybody who's heard Fairhazel knows that you two guys have the sweetest sounding connecting voices. I mean, absolutely, it seems like it was meant to be. So the fact that you're a couple and you're making this music and you're in the States now. And Hugh, you've been in LA now for how long?
We've both been here since January 10th.
So of 2019 or 2020?
Oh, of 2020.
Of this year.
Yeah, we moved to, because we had come last year to try and scope it out and look for a house, but we moved in, I moved in January 1st, and then Hugh came a little bit later, and so we kind of slowly poured in, and we have a really cool situation. I feel like we got really lucky and found this house. We were able to facilitate an in-home studio, and we were running the shows using it as a live venue.
Big house shows
at the beginning.
Cool.
I was living in London, and I was coming to Underwater Sunshine from London, but we had met in Boston, and in Boston there's this big house show scene where people had shows in their basements, and there was none of that whatsoever in London, I guess because everybody lives in apartments and you can't make too much noise. But we wanted to bring that here, and so before everything happened, we were having shows where 100 people we didn't even know would show up. Bands are playing in the living room. We have a little balcony. It was awesome. It was great.
So we did get really lucky, honestly, finding this place.
So you're originally from London. You're from where, Danielle?
I grew up in just outside of Austin, Texas, and then moved to Salem, Oregon when I was about 12. So I kind of Texan, Oregonian, got a little bit of both going on, and then went straight from Oregon to Boston for school.
And Fairhazel, if no one knows it, it's a town. It's a small little part of London. What is the deal with the name?
It's a street right by where I live. Fairhazel Gardens is a little street.
Right. It's a beautiful name. All right, let's get right into the new stuff. We're going to play a video momentarily. But as I said at the top, you guys have been very busy. You have 3 or 4 singles out. And they remind me so much, when you guys came out with In the Morning and you played that at the festival. I think on the podcast I said it reminds me of if Marvin Gaye joined the Beatles somehow. It's
I'll take it.
It's soulful pop. It's got a great British feel, but a great soulful late 60s Motown feel. The new stuff is taking off on that. Tell me exactly how you worked on these new songs, and if this is a growth period for you guys, and if working in the pandemic actually inspired, in a way, these songs.
I wasn't really planning on putting together an album. I just had I had a few songs from before I had left to come here, and I have a little studio, like a tiny little studio here, and I was just kind of writing. I was listening to like exclusively the Kinks and Harry Nilsson,
Literally,
and like anything from 1968 to 1979. That was the only period that was allowed in my ears. And I was just like writing songs, and then I was watching these documentaries about Fela Kuti, and how he was using his music as like a beacon of political change. And it really one morning I was watching this documentary, and it's just like ignited something in my mind, and I thought like, why am I making all this music about myself and about whatever internal things? I should be making music for a bigger purpose. And so this album is kind of a collection of songs, not at all doing that, because I don't know how to do that yet, but it's like the process of me realizing that and trying to figure out how to take songs in a direction that's outside of myself.
Yeah.
Where did you guys record this stuff?
All here.
Yeah, we this whole year we've been recording everything, and everything in the studio, producing everything in the studio here. I've been producing my own music and recording in here, and we've gotten lucky and had a ton of local LA musicians come, and we were doing live sessions.
Yeah,
so,
but we play. I play everything on the Fairhazel stuff apart from drums, and Louis plays drums. And he records them. Louis!
I know, I actually just sent Louis a song of mine today for him to put drums on, because I'm like, if I need a drummer,
he's
it's
the guy.
Gonna be Louis.
If you need a drummer or you need some sort of vegan food, he will find it for you in Lower Manhattan. Yeah, I'm sorry. So you recorded all this stuff here. Louis came in. You played all the other instruments then?
Yeah, obviously Danielle sung her vocals. She helped me out with the parts, and I just would send stuff off to Louis, and like 5 hours later, he would send back like, oh, here's 7 different takes.
He's a drum machine.
Yeah, he's a machine.
That is fantastic. Now, we're taping this before the record comes out, but interestingly enough, the way these things work, the record's out now. So what is the name of the album?
It's called I Sold My Soul for Fairhazel.
Who cares about your soul?
That's right. But with the name of the band in the name of the album, you cannot go wrong marketing that in any way. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Actually, I have something. I have to grab it.
Sure.
You're getting the
Look at this. Now we're back to 1.
I know. Back to 1.
While you's getting that, how are things going for you, Danielle? Everything's good?
Yeah, no, everything, honestly, it's funny because we speak to a lot of our friends around LA or even in London, and a lot of people during the pandemic have really felt kind of like they haven't been doing a whole lot, especially once performing live was stripped away.
Yeah.
It took away so much of the meat and the foundation of what we do. But I feel really good. I kind of feel proud that we've been really productive, and I've been doing a ton of writing, a ton of recording. I'm going to do a lot of releases next year. I'm kind of recording right now so that I can release almost even every month next year, because I just want to be putting content out there. But we've been doing a lot. We directed a music video.
Yeah, we directed.
We got a drone, and we've been like learning how to use that for content, and so it's been really fun. And I feel like I've learned a lot. So it's actually been a productive pandemic. Which
no kidding. Now, what do you got there?
I have for you here. I sold my soul for Fairhazel.
Oh, I love that.
Political campaign buttons. I have a bag of them, so if you want one, let me know. They'll be coming
and this, perfect. You got 2 more days to vote for Fairhazel, because this is coming out on November 1st, I think, if you're going to get involved. All right, so speaking of which, I found it interesting. Just watched your video before we taped this. It's for a song called Hell is Only Hell, and it apparently feels like you've embraced the heat and the ennui of LA in this. Now, me being a Warren Zevon guy and writing this book about Warren Zevon, immediately got that. But I don't know if that's what you were intending, but please preview this little video here, which has your face throughout.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell me about it.
So that video, I mean, everything that we're doing is like 0 budget.
Yeah.
And so we got a ton of my face printed as like cutout masks. And I just put out a thing on Instagram, and I said, can anybody come and dance in this video for me? And a guy from Underwater Sunshine, John, an audience member, he reached out and he was like, I'm in LA, I'd love to be involved. And
That's
so
great.
Yeah, it was
Small
really, really
world.
cool.
And we had all these people just like down Ventura Boulevard with my face on dancing. I was
It
filming
was really
everything.
fun. It was really
I wasn't
fun.
doing any dancing for my own sanity. And even at the end, we went into the 7-Eleven and we asked the woman working there who was mopping the floors, we said, would you put on a mask and dance along to the song?
And she was so
like,
down.
yeah, why not?
She was so down.
And so it was just a good time.
Everybody's just a frustrated actor, writer, director in Los Angeles, right? You can't throw, what do they say, a baseball and not hit at least one actor in LA. All right, so let's take a look at this. It's Hell is Only Hell, brand new music video from Fairhazel. Check it out.
Hell is only hell if you're in it. From the outside it looks like a hot spring resort in California. It's only a drag if you live it. But me, I'll be fine. Could be all misaligned, but I'd still have music. Or half the world could fall. I could nearly lose it all, but I'd be fine knowing, not shy, knowing, be alright, knowing my tune. I'd be fine knowing, not shy, knowing, be alright, knowing my tune. Love is only love if you feed it. Can't go starving for days, void of anything vaguely satisfactory. Music's only time with a feeling that cannot be replaced, disregarded as waste that is momentary. Or half the world could fall. I could nearly lose it all, but I'd be fine knowing, not shy, knowing, be alright, knowing my tune. I'd be fine knowing, not shy, knowing, be alright, knowing my tune.
Yeah, so just like flash back and forth between. Thank you for doing this. You're
This
such
is gonna
a
be,
champ.
yeah, this is the best. We'll put you in the credits.
You look like me.
Yeah, right?
I'm
Okay.
gonna come over your shoulder as if I was you.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Would this be all?
That's everything. Thank you very much. That's okay.
That's good.
I got to tell you, I absolutely love that video. Are you sure that's not Danielle dancing there? Because it looks like Danielle might be dancing.
Dancing
I'm
in
dancing.
I figured. I knew it.
Yeah.
Being so humble before this. You know, he said you didn't dance. You kept your mouth shut, but I had to call you out. Yeah, that's some fantastic stuff. And I love the ending where you kind of out the 7-Eleven attendant there. That was that was really nice. Yeah, and I'm so glad. I want to say this. I didn't get a chance to chime in there before. I'm so glad that this Underwater Sunshine family and just to get it out there, Danielle is a huge part of what we do there now. And I love working with her. And she's used part of this series. High five. You got that right. And you know, Fairhazel has been a huge part of that. And I think it's so excellent that someone from our audience reached out and got to be in this video. I love that.
It's been like that, honestly, ever
Yeah.
since we played the first one, just the community around it and the people. I talk to people like every day who were just in the audience, and it's, if I could go back to one place in time, it would be like sitting, watching the garden sessions all day long, just not worrying about anything else in the world.
It was
like
really
that's what I miss more than
anything. It was
anything.
like a bubble of goodness. Like we miss it so much, and I'm crossing my fingers that the festival can come back and those things can renew again, because it really is like, that's a musician's dream.
Yeah,
it's just being surrounded by other musicians, and it was so special. So obviously, as soon as I could, I was like, I need to be a part of this, and I love it so much working with you guys.
Well
really,
said. Thank you. Okay, so the future. Obviously, it's odd right now with the pandemic and everything going on. That's why we're doing this. Yeah. Musicians need a voice. They need places to play. How are you handling that, and how are you going to promote the new music?
So while we're talking right now, I'm busy making a kind of concert movie, like this. I was inspired by like Rolling Stones' Rock and Roll Circus, but I don't have any of the cool stuff that they have. So I got together, I think it's 8 artist friends of mine, including Juniper, including Nate, who was playing bass for me at Underwater Sunshine, and a few other people. And those of whom I can go and see in LA, I'm going to film them doing 2 songs each, and I'm putting together like a thing. I'm going to introduce everybody in a nice Goodwill suit. And it's so that by the time this is out, that will be out. And that's also acting as a fundraiser for Musicians Without Borders, which is a charity that uses music to help people in war-torn countries. And so that's a big part of the promotional effort. And then in the future, I don't know. We've done a Jam in the Van live session.
We just did Jam in the
filmed
Van,
that about 2
really
weeks
cool.
ago, and that's coming out mid-November. And yeah,
we've got one thing. We do have a duet album coming out on January 1st, because we've written so many songs together, and really, you know, it's like Juniper music or Fairhazel. And we've written so many songs together, so we figured like we should put these songs out. And so we are recording a bunch right now to release a duet album. There's not a ton. We haven't figured out a ton about it, but January 1st is the one detail that we do have.
Right, and in the future, once everything is open up again, our plan is to get an RV and deck it out to be a little bit of a studio RV, and just go across America, start in America, and then go to other continents. And just go place to place, playing shows, meeting musicians. And that was almost a little bit inspired by Underwater Sunshine and all those musicians coming together. And we've been brewing on this idea. And so hopefully by the year after next, we're going to do that.
That sounds great, man. You guys are the very spirit of what we do at Underwater Sunshine. I'll tell you, you never stop working. You keep other musicians in mind, and you use every possible medium to not only promote yourself. And we should mention, I'm sorry, Danielle, Juniper is the name of your project. And so we have Fairhazel and Juniper perfectly represented here. Well, thank you so much, Hugh. Thank you so much, Danielle. Great seeing you guys. Much love for being on the Underwater Sunshine, or I should say Sunshine Spotlight show. Best of luck through all of this. Congratulations on the new release, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
On the journey, I was tempted to hand over all of me to the money and the power that was lurking down every street. Got the message, tried to let go, but they're tired, still I won't give in.